Love, it has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find
Well, hello, good evening, and welcome to the X-RAD show, the talk show that gets you talking on the Xandermonium Network, live from New York City. I'm Xander Gibb.
And I'm Swoop.
Oh, yes, sir. On today's show, the hottest of topics, and in part two, David Weissman joins us. More to come in a mere moment. So you can tweet us. The tweet dates are on the Xrad Facebook show page for today. You can join in the conversation around the live feed. If you have any problems with the live feed, try refreshing it a few times. And if that doesn't work, maybe you need to refresh. I can't say that word today. Refresh. It's the Asian in me. Refresh our wireless router. More to come in a mere moment. So welcome back to the show, Swoop. How is the world with you, sir?
Oh, good, man. It's all good. Just, just rushing around doing things, but life is good.
Absolutely. Do you want to tell people why life is good, or do you really not want to share?
Life is good because I'm still above ground.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to know, have you met your mother-in-law yet, or your mother-in-law to be?
Yes, I do know her, and yes, it'll be official on Saturday. But it's good, man. I've been busy with last-minute plans and stuff like that. But yeah,
absolutely.
I'm here.
Absolutely. Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us. And Swoop is going to be away for the next 2 weeks, celebrating, shall we say? But he will be back with us with his ball and chain intact.
You said that. I did, man. I'm not touching that at all.
Yeah. Does your fiance listen to the show? Hi to Swoop's fiance out there. It was me that said about the ball and chain. So don't be making Swoop sleep on the sofa for the first week of your marriage. Now, what do you think of all these kind of myths about superstitions and stuff with regards to getting married? Like, the bride needs something old, something blue, something borrowed, something new, and all that BS. Do you think do you think people still go along with those traditions nowadays, or do you think that that's all but died out and most people get married in Vegas and are divorced like 6 weeks later?
I think people do. It depends on the person. They all do whatever they want to do. I mean, it's not my first rodeo, so. But there,
right.
Some people are into all of the traditions, and some people are not. And you meet all kinds. You meet people who met somebody somewhere one day, and then they got married 3 days later, and they've been married 40 years down the road. And there's people who've been together for years and years and years, got married, and boom, they were it's over with. You get to Britney Spears sex,
yeah,
a couple hours in Vegas or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. That's kind of worrying. I have a friend in England who is a cop, and he married a woman that he arrested for speeding, and apparently he still made her pay. She still had to pay the speeding ticket, but he took her for dinner, as a kind of get to know you. And they've been together for 20 years, so you just never know who's going to be that one for you. I mean, maybe my future husband is watching this show right now. Oh, hope not.
You never know.
Yeah,
you never know, Xander.
I hope not. I haven't done my hair today. I just gave it a little bit of a brush and hope for the best. But you're absolutely right. You do never know. So that's why always make sure you have clean underwear on. Oh no, that's in case you get run over, isn't it? That my mother always tells me.
Hey, if I give you a little advice, you'll probably do better if you met him on the show than like Adam for Adam or something like that.
Yeah, I've never been very big on these dating things, but apparently Christian Mingle got into a lot of trouble because they wouldn't let men seek men on there. But surely a website like Christian Mingle would give you a clue that, it's, Christians. And I know there are gay Christians out there because I'm one of them before you, write in and email me. If you do want to email me about anything you disagree with on the show, you can actually email me at Xander Gibb at idon'tgiveacrap.com. I believe you have an account there too, don't you, Swoop?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, absolutely. His address is Swoop's World at idon'tgiveacrap.com. Yes, Sari, we have much to talk about tonight, but I want to kind of begin a little by going to the chat room and saying hi to people, which I'm going to do just after I press send, because we do have a producer on this show, and I do everything. Literally, I'm right. You can't see below my chest line, but I'm actually riding a bicycle to provide the electricity for the show.
Well, we have to give Phil props because he hit the nail on the head. He figured out something old right out of the gate.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Zal's always kind of on the ball, and it's like I don't need a prompter or a fact checker for this show because I can always rely on Zal to go out there and get it. Good evening to Shyster. Yes, we will be discussing the healthcare. Be patient. What? Okay, Facebook has changed, so every time you click like, it gives you this new message. Hello to Zal. Hey to Joan. Welcome. Hey to Dave. Hey to Gina. Welcome. I'm trying to click like. I don't like this new system because it offers you 20 different things when you click like now. Welcome to all of our early birds. Before we go into the first section, because obviously we're going to talk about healthcare, the healthcare bill tonight. But I wanted to ask you, Swoop, did you see the Jimmy Kimmel video that he made recently?
I saw the clips on the news. I didn't watch the whole video, I have to admit, but I saw the clips on the news. I saw his angle, what he was angling for. Listen, when you got your kid's sick and this, that, and the other, I could get being emotional about it and caring about it and stuff like that. But, throwing in, making it a whole political thing, especially for a man who can afford whatever he wants to afford.
Right.
His kid will never want for anything. Sometimes you just want you watch these shows not for politics. You just want to watch the show for the entertainment. If
right.
It touches him, he wants to talk about that. I get that, but then when you make it a big political thing, I'm not that interested in it. That's why I didn't watch the whole thing. I watched a clip and got on the news and got as much as I needed to know.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm sad for him, and we wish his son the very best, and we send prayers out to his son. But it's funny. Often I watch something and I agree with some of the stuff that people say, and I totally disagree with other things that they say. But I was kind of, I was sad for this guy because, you're absolutely right. He could afford to pay for it. And Jimmy Kimmel, I know you watch. How about paying for my health care? How would you like to do that? Because I think that would be a nice gesture, don't you?
Yeah, and the thing is, even when people's politics I agree with, and I tune in certain shows for that. I don't tune in to shows, certain entertainment shows I don't tune into just to hear politics. Like I don't tune into certain shows to hear them preach the gospel to me.
Right.
Even though I go to church to hear that, or I turn on a specific show for that, but I don't expect to hear it from, Jimmy Kimmel or Colin Ferguson or whoever the late night people are. I don't watch much of it anymore. Right.
No, I totally get you. I mean, apparently it's rumored that that a lot of the things are slow. Bette Midler is doing Hello Dolly on Broadway, and apparently things are slow there. And some people are attributing that to the fact that she spends all her time, berating President Trump. And it's funny, I discussed this with a friend last night. I love Bette Midler. I love Barbra Streisand, but it does make you less inclined to want to watch someone when they're being too political. If you're a singer, just sing and shut the hell up. Leave the political commentary to those that are there to do that, because surely we have to consider the commercial implications of over-politicizing. I'm sure Bette Midler has a few regrets right now.
Listen, I think there's a time and place for anything. I don't begrudge anybody wanting to express their political beliefs or whatever they think. I just don't think it should be on a show that I'm watching for entertainment purposes. I don't think if I pay big money to go see a Broadway show, I don't care about your politics. I want to see you do your Broadway show.
I agree.
There's certain comedians are known for political humor, so if I go see their show, I expect it. But I don't expect it out of certain mediums. When it happens in those mediums, I get discouraged or disgruntled or whatever you want to call it, and choose not to participate.
No, I totally get it. The Dixie Chicks really do spring to mind because they had a lot of trouble, didn't they, when they were kind of being overly political, at not just at events and concerts and stuff, but like publicly. I do actually. I respect some people for being political, but others I'm like, why did you need to share that for me just before you sang my favorite song? That's kind of like my perspective on the whole thing. So let's jump into the healthcare, because everybody's dying to talk about it, because the House Republicans defied the odds today and passed a bill to repeal and replace Obamacare with House Speaker, that was very Freudian, Paul Ryan, urging his members to seize the moment and deliver on their long-held campaign promise, even before members received an estimate of the bill's effects from the Congressional Budget Office. Now, it took late-night meetings, amendments, etc. to push the bill through, but the Obamacare likely faces an even steeper the Obamacare replacement, I have to say, faces an even steeper and more treacherous climb in the state and slow Senate. Now, the Republicans' bare majority, just 52 votes, means they can only lose 2 senators and still push a repeal through. Now, the chamber's Democratic senators remain firmly unified against any repeal of Obamacare. Even if Republican senators do find that path, they are unlikely to accede the House Conservatives' demands that they return the precariously negotiated legislation back to them virtually untouched. Now, members also voted on the bill before receiving a new congressional budget estimate of its cost and effects. And a previous score from nonpartisan office estimated that 24 million people would lose insurance coverage under the original AHCA, aka Obamacare plan, over 10 years. Now, several tweaks were made in order to win over support for the bill. Some are calling the bill Obamacare Light, and others are not too happy about some of the changes. But will it pass through the Senate? So what do you make of this, Swoop? How much do you know about it? Is it just Obamacare Light? And is it any good?
Here's the things that are happening with it. Listen, Republicans had to try to get something through. That's what they campaigned on, just like when Obama campaigned that he was going to get it through. So they had to get something through, and I think in order to get it through, they did make some concessions that probably most people who voted for Trump aren't probably too happy about. It sounds like it might be Obamacare Light, but we talked about this before. If you're going to take away, it's because it passed originally, and then all these people have insurance. You have to do something so they can remain insured on somehow.
Right.
So I guess that just being said, they were going to have to make some concessions immediately anyway. In I heard somebody complaining about the fact that, like you mentioned in here, that it wasn't completely read before, or the numbers hadn't come in before it passed.
Yep.
Well, they passed Obamacare before. I think Nancy Pelosi said we have to pass it so we can read it. So this is, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, I suppose. Time will tell. I'll be glad when I have an opportunity to sit down and read it and see what kind of changes are being made and make a determination, personally, whether I think it's good or bad. It can't be any worse, I don't suppose.
Well, no, absolutely not. Because let's face it, the Affordable Care Act was the worst piece of legislation ever put into place in the United States, like bar none. Well, one of the things that does really concern me is that if they exclude the previous, pre-existing conditions clause, because that's been a lifeline for a lot of people who otherwise couldn't have afforded to get treatment. And I think that for far too long, the government has been in bed with the drug companies and the health insurance companies. And it's about time for, the American public to actually get, to stop being shafted,
Yeah, and it's kind of a tricky situation with the pre-existing conditions. I think you should be able to get some kind of insurance even with pre-existing conditions. It might cost you more, because if you look at it like car insurance, which I know health insurance is not like car insurance, but it's almost like getting insurance after the accident. I still think people should be covered. I think people should be able to get insurance and get help and seek medical treatment, even though they come in with some kind of pre-existing condition. But I kind of see both sides of the issue, trying to be objective and see both sides of the issue. But I think there's got to be a reason, a way for people to still be insured, even though they're coming to the thing with the pre-existing condition. It might cost you more. But,
yes.
You still should be able to get insurance.
I think so too, and one of the concerns for me is people already pissing and whining about how many people would not be able to be covered under the new healthcare bill. But there are millions that are not covered under the Affordable Care Act, and the whole ideology of the Affordable Care Act was that everybody would be able to afford to do it. But when you're put in the position of choosing whether to pay your rent and feed your kids or pay for healthcare, most people are going to are not going to opt for the latter, because if you can't afford to feed your kids and pay your rent or your mortgage, why the hell are you going to waste money on healthcare? And there's no, it's not like, when you have your car, in the UK, they have this system where if you have car insurance and you don't have any accidents for a year, your car insurance goes down. Your premiums are lower because you're considered less of a risk. It's called the no claims bonus. But there's nothing like that with healthcare. You could go a whole year, not even go for a checkup, not even get anything done during that period of time, but you don't get a single penny back, and you still have to pay more the next year.
Oh, absolutely. And you hit the nail on the head. There's no reward for staying healthy.
Right.
And you go year in, year out. You pay these high premiums, and they're just raking the money. And then when you do need them, they're denying certain coverages or certain types of treatment and things like that. It is a big racket. It's like dealing with the mafia.
It totally is, but wouldn't you think that I'm hoping that one of the president's prime objectives with regards to a better healthcare system is stopping the American public getting ripped off, because we deserve better. And for since time immemorial, the insurance companies have made huge profits off the backs of the American people. And then there are people that go to hospital that don't have insurance, and the hospitals charge exactly the same for a non-insured person that they do for an insured person, and that's not fair either, because the bill is kind of jacked up for the healthcare company because they're going to pay anyway, and you're going to have to pay your deductible. But if you don't have any insurance, I think there should be better assistance for those kind of people. I'll be totally open and honest. I don't have insurance, so when I had minor surgery at the beginning of the year, I ended up with a big bill because of it, and that is a concern. I mean, I don't think healthcare should be free, but I think everyone should pay something. But the concern for me is those that need it the most are just not getting it and won't get it, and that's a concern.
Well, and a big concern also is the cost, the way it is, because with the Affordable Care Act, it didn't bring down the cost of the insurance. It just made everybody else, pitch in for other people's insurance. And,
Did you say?
And the thing is you went from your kid being off your insurance at 18 to carrying them to their 26. You have, and then the goal was that, these younger people would work longer, and if they didn't have to start paying for their own insurance till they're 26, then they would be covering the costs. And that's not panning out correct, like it is. When they fall off their parents' insurance, a lot of them aren't getting their own insurance, so they're not help subsidizing it at all. So the whole thing didn't work as they said it was going to work. They knew it wasn't going to work. I think one of the guys who drafted it has gone on and said that we just said that to get it passed. So. If you want to make it affordable, bring down the cost of the insurance and bring down the cost of some of these treatments, and then everybody can start to afford things. You can afford your insurance. Your insurance covers most of it, especially when your insurance covers 80% of something. If you have a $200,000 or $300,000 procedure, even 80%, you're still going to go bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think you should end up having to go bankrupt to stay well or to stay alive. And I have to keep throwing in because people keep writing to me and saying, are you suggesting we should have free healthcare, Xander? No, I'm not, but everybody should pay according to what they can afford. And if you can't afford a lot, then you shouldn't pay a lot. Because these hospitals and these drug companies are private institutions. They're profit-making institutions. And yes, I'm aware that the country is built on making money, but it shouldn't be at the expense of the American public. There, I said it. A lot of people get pissed that I say these things, but I have to say what I feel. I can't just toe the party line and say exactly what I'm expected to say. I have to be honest. I have to say what I feel, and I feel that American citizens should be getting affordable health care. And I wasn't sure that Ryan was the one to do it, especially as he messed it up so badly the first time.
Well, yeah, and we talk about the cost of things. When you charge some exorbitant amount of money for medication, and you could still get a generic for 1% of that, or less than 10% of that. When they charge, guys buy these, that guy buy the company, and he raised the cost of that medication, like 100-fold. There's where the problem is.
Yeah.
The problem is just gouging people for things that they need to be healthy or to stay alive, and that's one of the major problems. Your insurance rates wouldn't be so high if the hospitals and the drug companies and all these other people weren't charging exorbitant amounts either. So it all runs downhill, and then who does it land on? It lands on the consumer.
Exactly, all the time. So, Mr. President, I know you watch the show. Please protect the American consumer. And while you're at it, please pardon Christian Saucier. So I want to change the subject totally now because it was revealed today that Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis is back in the spotlight again, but this time for some news she's probably not happy about. Now, on May 2nd, 3 judges ruled that the gay couple who she denied a marriage license for are free and clear to sue her for damages. Now, this story begins with David Ermold and David Moore, who originally sued Davis, a Rowan County, Kentucky clerk, for denying them a marriage license. Now, Davis refused to give them one, citing her religious beliefs. Now, the case was dismissed by Judge David Bunning, who believed that an executive order from Kentucky Governor Matthew Bevin made the case unnecessary. Now, the executive order stated that a marriage license didn't require the name of a county clerk. However, 3 judges on the U.S. Sixth Circuit of Appeals have now thrown the case back to Bunning, stating that Arnold and Moore weren't looking for an injunction. They sought only damages. Now, Davis, who originally spent 5 days in jail for refusing to issue marriage licenses to gay couples, will now have to face up to the lawsuit. Now, when she first refused to issue the marriage licenses, the far right painted her as a hero. Rallies were held in her honor, and she was when she was in jail, and when she was released, elated crowds greeted her. Arnold and Moore's lawyer believe they will win. We're going to get damages, I'm sure of that. Gartland said recently. There's been no discovery yet. I can't imagine it's a huge amount of damages, but there are damages. Now, what do you make of this? So basically what we're talking about is this is a county clerk that's refused to issue marriage licenses for gay couples because she cites that she's a Christian and that when she first accepted the job entailed her signing marriage licenses for male and female couples, not same-sex couples. So should she be allowed? So should they be allowed to sue her for exercising her religious freedom?
Well, you can sue anybody for anything, but the bottom line is just do your job. You know what? If you took the job and the conditions changed, then quit. You know, I was in law enforcement. I had to guard Nazis and when they were having rallies and stuff like that. I don't support what they have to say and what they believe in, but it was my job to do it. So if you can't do your job, then you suffer the consequences.
You didn't tell me
that's the bottom line.
You said you had to guard Nazis. I didn't know you'd worked with Hillary Clinton. I mean, I have a.
They get permits to hold their little rallies or march at certain times, and you got to do what you got to do. You got to protect them. They have a right to be protected. So
exactly.
If the conditions changed in her job, and they said now we issue marriages to get marriage licenses to gay couples, then either you do your job or you quit.
Right. I definitely see that point, but here was the problem. They were saying that it didn't need her signature on the licenses, that it could have been someone else. So if that was the case, then they should have just allowed licenses without her signature, or they should have assigned someone else to do it. But I'm not sure she should have had to quit her job because she didn't agree with the changes that were made to her job. If you're under contract to do X, Y, and Z, and then they add B, C, and D to that, I mean, I see what you're saying. You can either do it or quit, but why should those be the only two options?
Well, there aren't the only two options. You can do what she did and then risk being sued. Now, just because you get sued doesn't mean you're going to lose. I mean, you might win, but apparently this 3-judge panel overruled the first judge's ruling, and these are consequences that come with it. So, we all have our beliefs. We all have strong beliefs around a lot of things. When you're, just like we were talking about Colin Kaepernick, the quarterback who decided he wanted to kneel down during the national anthem all last year, and who's happened to be unemployed this year. But the bottom line is,
I'm sorry for smiling about that.
The time and place to stand up and speak for yourself. But you decide to do it on duty during your work hours, then there can be certain consequences. And apparently the consequences were, and like you said, they said that she didn't have to have a signature. Okay, she went with that. But the judge has decided that she can be sued. That might be her defense. She might win. Anybody could sue anybody, and she still might win. But I still contend that if conditions at your job change and you're now required to do something, you either do that or suffer the consequences come along with that.
I totally see your point. And the next story will kind of feed into that a little, because President Donald Trump may sign an executive order on religious liberties, citing multiple people familiar with the situation. Now, a previous draft version of the measure, which the White House backed away from earlier this year, would have given broad exemptions to claim religious objections in various situations. Now, lawyers are still working on the draft language, the outlet said. And the White House has invited conservative leaders to the White House on Thursday for the National Day of Prayer. Vice President Mike Pence is known for pushing religious freedom measures when he was governor of Indiana. Still, plans for possible executive orders that did not come to pass have leaked out of the White House before. Now, the American Civil Liberties Union, which has challenged Mr. Trump's travel restrictions on several predominantly Muslim countries, signaled that it would sue if Trump signs the order that would allow religion to be used as an excuse to discriminate. Now, I have a counter proposal for this. Why not change the Same-Sex Marriage Act and take out the compliance for Christians, and then everyone would be happy, because then there's no issue with regards to it.
Yeah, here's the issue is, like you said, religious freedom. People understand, can't force, right now I guess you can force people, but like, if you're a teacher, say you're an atheist teacher and you want to go get a job at a Catholic high school, in the past, one of the things they're going to ask you is your beliefs, and do they coincide with what we're teaching here?
Right.
And if they don't, then go look elsewhere. There's other places for you to go teach.
Right.
Now I think maybe now you could sue and say I didn't get hired because of my religious beliefs. I'm an atheist.
Right.
I want to teach at the Catholic high school, and you may win. So I do see why this bill exists for a variety of reasons, and I don't think the people who write this bill are looking for a way to discriminate. I think they're looking for a way to protect people who have certain religious beliefs. If if it comes to like shopping and things like this, if I go someplace and they say we don't want to sell to black people, why do I want to spend money there?
Exactly.
I can take my business elsewhere, write about them on Yelp.
Yeah.
And most people in my community will not spend money there, and they won't last.
Right.
So a lot of the complaints and arguments sometimes I think are people jumping the gun. I don't see where there's going to be this big, huge backlash. Most people are welcoming of all people. So
right.
I don't see where it's going to be a huge issue that people are making. It's going to be the huge issue that people are making out of it if it does pass.
Right. I mean, here's the thing for me. I'm openly gay and I consider myself to be a Christian. But if I was going to get married, answers on a postcard if you're interested. But if I was going to get married and I went to somewhere that said, no, Xander, we can't make you a cake because we don't agree with gay marriage, I would go and find another baker. It shouldn't be fair that I can sue them for saying, no, I don't want to make that. Because, if I walk into a bar and they don't like the look of me, they can refuse to serve me. So why should, and that, could I then claim, oh, they're not going to serve me because I'm gay? Do you see what I'm saying? What they've done is they've replaced equality. They've changed the equality for equity, and that's the concern for me. Because if you want equality, a straight person couldn't go to a gay baker and say, make me a cake, and if they say, no, we only make cakes for gay people, they couldn't then sue. So it's so ridiculous to be even having the conversation in 2017. For private companies to be forced to provide a service is whack. And I'm disgusted as a gay person that would be put through in my name, because I don't want that, and I don't think most gay people want that, because you don't want to give your business to anybody that doesn't want to take it. I don't want a cake made with someone's wrath and hate. I want someone to make the cake for me willingly. So get baking that cake out there and send it to my P.O. box. But seriously, it's a concern,
It is. I kind of wonder, can I sue? If I want to go have find a nice steak at some place and it says no shoes, no shirts, no service, what if I want to wear a shirt and shoes? Maybe I'm just want to let it all hang out. Can I sue because they discriminated against me for no shoes and no shirt?
No, you couldn't. I don't think under the law. But if you were gay and you said, I'm gay and I refuse to wear shoes and a shirt, you could probably sue them. But that's a concern. The cop that went to Walmart and asked them to. I can't remember what he asked them to put on the cake, but it was something. It was something to do with the boys in
Blue
blue.
Lives Matter.
Yeah, Blue Lives Matter, and they refused to do that. But he couldn't sue. But if the cop had been gay, he could have sued. I'm not saying I'm not supportive of the gay community because, duh, I'm gay. I am 200% supportive of the gay community. But let's stop the bullshit. Let's stop the crap, and let's stop having this division because you were used by the Obama administration. They could have just put that act through with none of this extra crap, and everyone would be happy. But I'll blow your mind even further. There wasn't even need for the Same-Sex Marriage Act because they could have just strengthened the civil partnership laws to allow for the same rights and avoided all this bad feeling. But we know the Obama administration had to have an agenda with everything. I have to start to introduce our guest now because he's going to call in any moment. His name is David Weissman. I've lost the phone. Where is the phone?
How do you lose the phone?
I don't know where the phone is. That is crazy.
Well, put it on.
I need something. I can't find the phone. I'm sure he will call back in just a second. Got it. Found it. David, call back. David Weissman, who is our guest, who's calling live from Israel, is a writer for... Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can I help you? I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't run away. This is David Weissman, who is our Israeli correspondent. He is a writer and a broadcaster, and he writes for... Who doesn't he write for? Welcome back to the show, David. How is the world with you?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
I am wonderful. You're live with myself and Swoop. Welcome back to the show.
Hey, David.
Thank you. Hey, so what's doing?
Doing great, man. Good to have you back.
Yeah, likewise. Good to be back. You always had me there for a second.
We need you to be. You're not very clear, David. Can you kind of go to a different area of the house or hold the phone? That is a little bit better. I want to jump right in because we've been talking a lot about lots of things today, including healthcare, and I wanted to first of all get your take on the fact that people are calling Trump care Obamacare light. What do you make of it, and what is your level of response to what's been put out there, the little that's been put out there already?
Well, I'm seeing so many mixed reactions to it. Honestly, I don't know. I haven't seen the exact plan in detail yet, since it just passed, but I'm seeing conservatives who are happy about it, some who are unhappy about it. It's kind of it seems like a mess. From what I gather, to me personally, it seems like it's obviously better than Obamacare. They have some of them for veterans. I know pre-existing conditions are covered. But yeah, there's like a lot of distractions going on about the new healthcare plan.
Right. Now, I know you don't live here, but I know you have a daughter that's disabled, and so if you lived in the country, you would have issues with regards to healthcare, with regards to your child. How does that make you feel?
It makes me very concerned. That's one of my number one priority. Make sure that her medical care is covered. How I think with pre-existing conditions, it's not their fault that that they have it. They're born with it, so they should be automatically covered. That's my intake in it, and as long as they are covered, I'm happy about that, because I can always go back to the United States and come back. So either way, especially being a veteran, trying to get a veteran's insurance.
Right.
So I know you won't be somehow affected by this somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what coverage or reductions for coverage there are for veterans, but that's a concern too, because one of the things that was, promised on the campaign trail, that veterans would be kind of better taken care of. Because let's face it, this is not a partisan issue, but for long enough, veterans in the United States have not been taken care of. We send our boys off, boys and girls, I should say, before anybody writes in, our boys and girls off, to ensure our freedom, and then when they come back, we throw them on the scrap heap. We don't give them health care, we don't give them somewhere to live, and these things should clearly, be at least a guarantee. But apparently there are more unemployed vets in this country than any other country, and that's a concern. If they don't have a trade that they've learned while they were, fighting for us and in the armed forces, then surely something should be given to them after that. And I think they should be given health care for a period of time. What say you, Swoop?
Oh, absolutely. I think people should be given health care. Like we talked about, we should be getting health care, even with the some pre-existing conditions. They need to be covered, and especially if you're born with it. It
Right.
should be automatically covered, but somebody who acquires it throughout their life, they don't have insurance at the time, there should be a way for them to get insured. It might, like I said, it might cost them more to come in, but they should still be able to get some kind of insurance.
Right.
Covered.
Well, I was asking more specifically about from the perspective of vets. So if you serve your country for a period of time, shouldn't you be given some health care coverage when you leave, some health care benefits?
Anybody who puts their life on the line, for our safety, should be given health care and all sorts of benefits. I think, it's a volunteer. We have volunteer service, all volunteer service.
Right.
People put their lives on the line for us. They should be given health care. They should be given lifetime medical. And a lot, these guys come back with some serious things.
Yes.
PTSD.
Exactly.
All kinds of things. They should be covered lifetime medically.
Yeah, I would agree with that. What say you, David? I know you served this country.
I totally agree. I mean, there's only 1.1% or 1.1% of the United States that actually serves in the military. So I definitely think that veterans should definitely be covered. And also the families too, because the families also deal with the sacrifices that normal families don't endure. So I think they should be covered as well.
Yeah, I totally agree. And one of the things that we've already talked about on the show tonight was regards to the pre-existing condition thing. Now, I mean, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong or correct me in the chat room. I remember Mr. Trump saying he wouldn't take that away. Am I correct in saying that?
I believe you are. I believe that he said something about that as well. I've seen other comments and that he said that he will not take that away.
Yeah, and so to do so really would be a concern. And I have to add an addendum to this because how easily people twist things. I'm still behind Mr. Trump 200%. Although there are some things with regards to the propositions for the Health Care Act that I really don't agree with. But isn't it interesting in 2017 that I have to make that statement before people would report that I don't love the Donald anymore because I disagree with some things in his health care plan. It's a real concern that one needs to make that statement in 2017. Now, I believe you had an issue with the president this week, David, with reference to someone who he basically described as honorable. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, President Trump invited rats, a snake, a piece of crap, terrorist, Palestinian terrorist, Mahmoud Abbas. He is a Palestinian president, and I get that Trump is probably trying to figure him out, see what's going on. But to describe their meaning as honorable, I mean, there is nothing honorable about Abbas. Nothing.
No.
Like, he's a terrorist. He's part of the Fatah terror organization that has killed Israelis. There's nothing honorable about him.
No. So what? So why do you think that? Why do you think that there's been this level of contact between him and President Trump, and what does that say to people in Israel that support President Trump?
I'm really hoping that it's a mind game from Trump trying to probably psych up the enemies. But, I mean, if he is able to say, you know, we're going to bomb the hell out of ISIS, you know, he should deliver the same message to Hamas, Fatah, and Hamas. And I see many reactions. A lot of them are unpleasant. Not happy about it. I mean, they still support Trump, and I still support Trump. It's just disappointed. The word he uses, you know, words, you know, matter. I mean, they do matter. And I think he's trying to help bring peace and trying to make the big deal of peace in the Middle East. Which I don't think it's going to happen because they are not getting it. It's not about land. They keep saying it's about land. It has nothing to do with land. I know the White House officially said that we will not take a stance on settlements or when they have made off the record comment about that they think that it has something to do with peace. You know, it's about this goal for peace, and that's not the case. It's just like ISIS. It's just like, you know, Iran. It's a holy war from radical Islam
Right.
That wants to wipe out the Jewish people in a Jewish state. And until they declare that there will never be peace.
Right. It definitely is a concern. But tell me, David, why you consider this person as not honorable? Because I think that's something that people need to know. It's not just because he's Palestinian, is it? Because I know that you don't stand in that camp.
He is a member of Fatah. Fatah is a terror organization that's in the quote-unquote West Bank, what people know as the real name of the West Bank is Judea and Samaria, but the Palestinian part is called the West Bank, and he was a Fatah member. And Fatah is a lot like Hamas. They're a terrorist organization that kills Israelis, women, children. They give out candy, celebrating when an Israeli gets killed.
Right.
And Hamas was part of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also, the United States, under the Obama administration, pays them, and they pay us, and he sends some money to the terrorists and to the terrorist families as well.
Yeah, I think that's concerning. I remember that, but I remember Obama saying that it was okay because he'd given money to Israel too. But that's like, that's kind of like me saying, I will give money to the United Christian Fund, but I'll give the same amount of money to ISIS. What's the difference?
Exactly, there's no difference. They're a terror organization. ISIS and Palestinians, in a way, and I'll never understand it because Obama has given money to ISIS, Iran, and now Palestinian terrorists, and why is he getting away with that? Why is he able to get away sending all that money? And, Israel is just trying to defend itself. Israel only responds to being attacked. They're not going out and starting wars. They're not this evil empire that people think that they are. They're just trying to, make it safe for Israeli citizens to live.
So do you think that the fact that President Trump has made this contact with this individual, do you think it affects the way that Israelis are looking at him?
Yes and no. Like I said, I think the meeting, I understand why he would want to meet there. I mean, because I know in this campaign, he promised he would stay neutral. So there is sort of like, okay, if he's staying neutral, why is he talking about involving himself in the peace deal?
Right.
But Israel decided. So there is a lot of concerns, and people trying to figure out what's going on here, what is his motive, what is his agenda. So it's questionable. A lot of questions are being asked, and a lot of uncertainty what's going on.
But don't you think that, the thing is, from what I know of President Trump is very kind of calculating and methodical, and I mean that in the nicest of ways. Maybe there is a reason why he is cultivating this relationship with this guy, and maybe as a part of the peace process. Do you think anyone has actually considered that?
Oh, yeah, some people have, and I know, I thought about it too. Like I said, the meeting itself, I understand. I just didn't like how he said honorable. But yeah, I think there's a possibility. There's probably some reason behind the meeting and stuff.
Right.
You can't show cards in a card game, I guess. So.
And also there is a possibility that he was just being respectful, because he couldn't say this shithouse terrorist leader, could he? Really? When you are trying to be diplomatic, you can't say, this asshole from this terrorist group. I agree with you that, I wouldn't term this individual as honorable, but I think sometimes you have to look beyond certain situations, because up to now I found in the run up to the election and since the president was inaugurated, I found him very pro-Israel.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. I tell you, he's definitely been pro-Israel, and there's no question he's done a lot of pro-Israel stuff even before he became president. And I was actually pretty shocked at some of the stuff he done. That's why one of the reasons why he has earned my support, as well as being there for the Jewish community in America.
Absolutely.
So, there's no questions. There's no questions with that.
But isn't it interesting that when people say, President Trump is anti-Semitic, do they forget that his daughter converted to Judaism? His daughter is married to a Jewish guy. So yeah, of course, the president hates Jews. He hates his own daughter and his own grandchildren. I find that kind of thing infuriating, don't you?
Yes, it is very infuriating. It is so infuriating. He's done nothing but help our community. And, of course, there's neo-Nazis, you find anti-Semites everywhere.
Right.
Not just, the alternate right. It's actually a pretty small group compared to the left-wing loonies and, radical Islamic terrorists. And
absolutely.
It's how the liberal media has no problem playing the anti-Semitic card on, alternate right guy, but ignores the fact that, hey, this radical Islamist just killed Israelis. This radical Islamist just called it a bomb threat. They don't really play that a lot, but, neo-Nazi guy comes in like, anti-Semite.
Exactly. It's absolutely ridiculous. Now, before we end, I wanted to get some reaction with regards to Hillary Clinton's commentary this week, with regards to her talking about why she lost the election. I want to come to you first, Zal. How hilarious is this, and which jail should she be serving her sentence in? Swoop.
You talking to me?
Yes, Swoop. Sorry, I called you Zal. I called you Zal, didn't I?
I thought Zal was like typing in the thing because I lost it. Listen, some people just need to go away. You lost, move on. Crawl under. A house is going to land under one of these days.
Yeah.
Whether or not they're going to put her in jail for anything, that's probably never going to happen. But
unfortunately,
you're going to spend the rest of your years crying about how you lost and who lost your election. You lost the election. There's no big giant shift of people who decided, oh my gosh, now I was supporting Hillary, now I'm going to vote for Donald Trump. No, that never happened.
No.
She got a book to sell. She got a book coming out later this year. She knows. She's very calculated. She knows what she's doing. She's pumping up the interest for people to go and buy her book. But
right.
I think all these people, when they run for these elections, run for these things, and then they sit there and complain the next 4 years, I think it's just a bad message. And I think that whole party right now is is going to be going through a change because of the type of behavior, and people are tired of
Exactly.
hearing about it, and people are tired of people being anointed, the anointed one.
Yeah.
That's the reason. The reason Trump won, because people were tired of the same old people, being elected and being in politics and all this kind of stuff. So, I kind of wish he'd just go away.
Yeah, I do too. And apparently Hillary's book is going to be very good. For those, those of you out there that have tables with one leg that's a little bit shorter, you can wedge it underneath and it keeps the table level. Final words to you, David. What do you make of Hillary's commentary this week?
Well, that's pretty much the reason why she lost. She never takes responsibility for Benghazi. She never took responsibility for the so many thousand emails that was supposed to be in a secret server. They wonder why she lost the election. It's because of that. That's a huge reason. And her continuing to blame others instead of taking responsibility herself.
Right.
A leader takes responsibility for his actions, or her actions, or where the leader is. That's what a leader does.
Right.
And she failed to do that. And, shut up already. Get over it. You lost.
So it's not James Comey and the Russians to blame for her losing then. It was because of her bad track record and her inability to work in any kind of governmental position without people dying or money getting lost or things getting stolen or classified information being, put out there erroneously. I think we can agree upon that. We are out of time. Go ahead, Swoop, very quickly.
No, it's just ironic that, had she won, she would not be running around going, I won in spite of.
No, of course not.
So I want to hear about you, I lost because of.
Yeah, exactly. So Hillary, shut up and go and haunt the woods in Chappaqua. We are out of time. Thanks to our guest, David Weissman. Tell people where they can find you, David.
Sure, you can find me on Facebook, David Weissman, Twitter at David M. Weissman, and I write for Times of Israel, Reactionary Times, as well as Voice, Real Savage Al Messina, and you can find me same bat time, same bat channel on X-RAD.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, David. Have a great weekend. Give our best to your family.
And will do. You guys have a good weekend.
Thanks a lot.
You too, David.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. That was David Weissman. Make sure you check him out. Make sure you check out his articles. All of his contact information is on the X-RAD Facebook show page for today. Thanks to my co-host, the fabulous Swoop, who will not be with us for 2 weeks. Tell people where they can find you apart from on your honeymoon, Swoop.
Swoopsworld.com, SWOOPSWORLD.com. All of our social media info's right there. You can listen to the archives. They're playing 24/7. You can search for ones you want. We won't be live for 2 weeks, but we'll be back the following Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific.
Wait, you're not doing a show on your honeymoon?
No, man.
Wow, that's not very. That's not commit. That's not commitment. You should be doing the show going down the aisle. Hello and welcome to Swoop's World. Listen, have a good one, my friend, and tell your wife to be that I send my congratulations, and we will speak to you very soon.
Thank you very much, brother. We'll talk to you soon. Good night, all.
Absolutely. Thanks a lot, Swoop. Take care. That was Swoop from Swoop's World. Make sure you check him out. On tomorrow's show, my co-host is Tony Lusacco, and our guest is Thomas S. Schmitz. Stay warm out there. Stay safe. And we will be back with you tomorrow. Please share the video before you go. If you don't share the video, I'm going to come and eat all the cake in your house. But we will be back with you tomorrow. Same time, same place. And I really do love you all. I do. Bye-bye.
Life, it has been good to me this time around.